Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a nice long sit down video and we are going to be chatting about making peace with our bodies as women and also the real tie between making peace with our body and unlocking our feminine energy. So this is going to be a nice long sit down video. I haven't done one of these in a really long time. It's been a really long time since I've sat here like this with you, but I'm really looking forward to diving into this topic. This was quite a requested topic and honestly there is so much to be said around this. So make yourself a cup of tea, get comfy, maybe you're listening to this in your ears on a walk, whatever it might be, because we have got an awful lot to dive into. For anyone who's new here, my name is Amara. I am a yoga teacher, but I also do a lot of work with rooted feminine healing, and that is kind of where I come to you from with today's video. So without further ado, let's dive into making peace with our bodies as women and really using this as a way to tap into and unlock our divine feminine essence and energy. Now, before we dive in, I want you to know that I am coming to you as one who is moving through this each and every day. I think when we begin to talk about making peace with our bodies as women, we must understand that this is never going to be a complete process. Exactly, like I think there is a lot of healing generationally that needs to be done around this, and for each and every one of us that are choosing to do this and make peace with our bodies and begin to really find that acceptance within ourselves, this is going to be a process. You're going to have days and months and years where you have that, and you're going to have almost the expansions and contractions. You're going to have those moments where you question yourself. That is part of the feminine experience. That is also part of just the human experience as well. So know that this is going to be a forever process. This is the process of a lifetime that you can choose to begin now. With that also being said, we are going to be diving into an awful lot of sort of information on like the deep feminine psyche and the experiences we hold within our nervous system as women and generational experiences within this video. So I just want to sort of caveat this and say everything I'm speaking about, let it meet you where you're at. Some of this may go over your head if you're new to this topic. But just allow it to meet you where you're at. You also may want to come back to this video later on and you might find that some of it that it doesn't resonate today resonates a little bit further along your journey, because we are going to be going into an awful lot of depth. Now with that being said, let's dive straight in. Now I know for a lot of us coming to this video, you may be arriving at this video for a multitude of reasons. It could be because you've had a lifelong battle with your body and you, like most women, are just feel as if you'll never find peace with it or are wanting to find peace with it, and this is something you've felt and dealt with for a really long time. For others, it may be that your body has moved through a change of some sort. Maybe you've faced motherhood, maybe your body has just grown and changed and blossomed and transformed and developed, and it feels unfamiliar to you and you're feeling a little bit ill at ease with the space in which you call your home, this body space. And I know that that's a space we're all coming from. It can feel really vulnerable to come to this space of knowing I need to make peace with my body, or I deeply want to make peace with my body, but I don't know where to begin. And also I have so many conflicting emotions of I want to make peace with my body, but I'm holding this immense amount of hatred for the body that I'm in. And that is actually where we're really going to begin. We're going to begin with what I call the disconnect, the fracture within our bodies. And when I talk about this disconnect, I really think that this fracturing of ourselves from our bodies is the root of the pain, the root of the suffering, and that is honestly the crux. And the more we understand the root of this discomfort in our bodies, the root of the hatred, the root of the pain, we can begin to unlearn it and we can begin to unpick it, and it actually begins to make sense, and we understand why something that seems as if it should be so simple, finding peace with our bodies, is actually such a layered process that is almost at times impossible within the world we currently live in. With that being said, the world we currently live in is one which we know is very patriarchal. It holds the masculine as the pinnacle of everything, and we live in a world where women are told to take up as little space as possible. Now that space could be space within the workplace, it could be space within society, but it is most definitely the space we take up within our bodies. I don't think it's a coincidence that the ideal body type that is so often idolized as societies is women in their smallest form, women who take up the least amount of space, women who maybe at times have starved themselves to wither away, that they have no spirit left in them to even move or act out of the societal norms. And I think that that is a really big part of this. Now, if you see me looking below, I've got all my notes here because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of channels and guidance came through around this. But that first one of, we live in a world that really idolizes women taking up their smallest form. And I really think that even just in that is a way of disconnecting women from their power, making them feel as if they need to take up as little space as possible is so unbelievably symbolic, and it's not a coincidence. Now, with that being said, there is an element of, first we must understand that a woman's body is divinity embodied, right? We as women hold a portal to the divine within our bodies, within our womb space. We're able to breathe life. And if you think of the idea of conception and birth and motherhood and pregnancy, we are growing a human within us, and a human has a soul. There is a direct line in which the soul can drop into that tiny baby's body, and we hold that direct line to divinity, to the universe, to the divine within us at all times. This is within our bodies, it's innately a part of us, and this is incredibly powerful. This is incredibly powerful. And when we think about the relationship of divinity, and when it comes to the relationship between the masculine and the feminine, I will caveat this by saying when I speak about the masculine and the feminine is a spectrum, right? There is no absolute. This is all very movable and fluid in that sense as well. So women really are this portal for the divine. Now, the masculine, the male, the way in which they seek the divine is outside of themselves. It's this concept of ascension. It's this looking upwards towards divinity. Whereas for women, we can drop into divinity within our own bodies, within the portal we hold within us. And naturally then it's often said that that's why the masculine seeks the feminine, because she is this divine embodied on the earth. Now, the reason I'm going into this is because we live in a patriarchal society, as I said. This knowledge that the woman holds power to divinity doesn't fit in to the patriarchy. It gives women far too much power. And with that being said, the greatest tool that the patriarchy holds to severing a woman from her power is through this severing of her acceptance and understanding and relationship she holds with her body. The easiest, quickest, surefire way to disconnect a woman from her power is to sever her relationship with her body and to put her at war with herself. That is never ending. To constantly change the goalpost of what the ideal body is. Forgive any background noises coming through here, but to constantly change the ideal of what the perfect idealistic body is, so that she's constantly chasing her tail, trying to seek this outward validation of what we've now centered as the divine, because we've forgotten the divinity that we hold within us. Men have become the divine. They're our way to seeking the things we want, whether it be children, love, marriage, affirmation, acceptance, appreciation. All of these things are now held in this divinity that is the masculine, the men. And through us creating that sever between us and our body, that becomes the savior. But actually it's a never-ending cycle of they're changing the goalposts of what is seen as the most idealistic body, and we're constantly at war chasing our tails. And this is why for so many of us, we spend so much of our lives at war with ourselves, and it's not unintentional. It's been done by the society we're in. We spend so much time and energy starving ourselves, being at war with ourselves, trying to change the physical body we came to earth with, that we are too preoccupied here to even realize that there is so much that needs to be unraveled. Now, I appreciate that is going into a lot of depth, and that may be going over some heads here, and I really do appreciate that. But this understanding that the easiest way to disconnect a woman from her power is to create hatred and distrust within her own body, because that is her connection to her own her own divinity and to her deep feminine essence. With that being said, within the society we are currently in, there is a massive centering of what's known as the male gaze. What do men want to see in women? What outfits are flattering on women? What makes us as women appear to men in the most favorable way? Because they are, again, seen as this idealistic goal. So I know this might seem a little bit outside of you, but the root of your hatred in your body, are you truly worried about how you see your body, or are you worried about the way the world will treat you based on your body, the way you will seem to be attractive in your body? And it's not a small thing. I don't say that as if it's something frivolous. This idea of being attractive to the male gaze, it provides us a lot of liberties in the world that we currently live in. It creates a sense of ease for women that we may otherwise not have. It's not a small thing, but through us centering this male gaze, every little bit of change that we see within our bodies, every part of our bodies we're faced with in front of us, becomes something to scrutinize and pick apart and to improve and to change and to try and alter and twist so that it meets the goalpost. In addition to that, if we come back to the current beauty ideals very much within when I'm filming this, so 2025, and more recently, we've also seen a real lean towards masculine features being the beauty ideal for a lot of women. So, and these are all beautiful, you truly do, each of us have a very unique beauty, but what we're seeing really being idolized at the moment is very masculine, angular jaws, this lack of hips, this very almost no body fat on our bodies, this look of almost not looking unwell, but this look of being very, very slender. There's not a favoring towards the feminine curve, the feminine softness, and we must understand that the feminine, when we think of it just in terms of qualities, the yin, the feminine, it's soft, it's gentle, it's malleable, it's fluid, it's ever changing. The masculine is rigid, it's hard, and we as women, even the ideals for our bodies lean so much more masculine. We want abs, we want really angular jaws, we want really, really prominent, strong but very slim, and no softness on our bodies, no squidgy parts. I hate that phrase, but like seeing a curve in the hips, seeing a curve in the bust, like this is all seen as really actually leaning towards away from what we're prioritizing as the ideal body type. But these elements of a softer jaw, whether it be curves or hips or lumps and bumps, whatever they might be, are very much within the feminine. If we were to sit down and write the not ideal feminine body type, but the stereotypical or archetype, that's the word I'm looking for, the archetype of the feminine body, it's soft, it's curvaceous, it's like the Aphrodites, the Venuses, and that actually is the embodiment of the feminine. But this society doesn't actually hold space for that in so many ways, and some societies do, it depends where you are in the world, but I know many women will be feeling this sort of, how do I make my jaw more angular? How do I have completely flat stomach? How do I try and fit my female form as close into a masculine form as possible? And that is, again, always going to create a severing and hatred within the body, because it's not our truest form. It's not our form in its divinity, and it's in our acceptance, and it's not our form in the way that it was ever imagined to be. The feminine form was at most put here to be fluid, right? Like, it's going to ebb and flow and expand and contract, and that is what it means to be a woman on planet Earth as a human, right? We are going to change and flow, and that it really is a huge part of this. And if we have this sort of firstly male gaze where we're trying to constantly please the gaze of men in order to seem attractive, and in addition to that, if the goalpost for what is attractive leans more towards these stereotypically masculine features, we're creating an unending battle for ourselves. And some of us will lean more that way, and we'll have our time in the sun of feeling as if our features fit the societal expectations, and then another trend will come, as we've all seen with all of the trends within our bodies, and it won't be anymore. And I can't stress enough, your body is not a trend, your body is your home, but we will come into that later. But again, this is really beginning to unlayer and pick apart the root of the disconnect and the root of the pain points we have within our bodies as women. The next thing I'm really going to come on to is when we think about this idea of beginning to make peace with our body and beginning to find maybe a little bit of confidence and acceptance within the body that we're in. This again is not met with love and acceptance within the society we're in. So often women who are seen as confident or at peace within their bodies are often tied to maybe being arrogant, maybe being overtly sexual, maybe being labeled as a whore, or being labeled as she was asking for it, or whatever it might be. There's this criminalization of women who accept and love their bodies and show up unapologetically within their body become this subject for criticism and ridicule. And the reason for that is that deciding to make peace with your body, deciding to find acceptance for your body, God forbid deciding to find love for your body, is the biggest form of rebellion against the patriarchy for women, because it is the root of our disconnect to our feminine power. So a woman that cannot be controlled through the perception of her body becomes very dangerous, because remember, we're chasing our tails over here, so we can't think about anything else because we're busy chasing our tails because our body doesn't fit the ideals that men want, or not necessarily men, the male gaze, the patriarchy wants. We're too busy. But if we decide that actually we're no longer going to chase our tails and we're going to find acceptance, this opens up space. This opens up space for us to remember the divinity we hold within us, and that undermines the patriarchy. So this becomes an issue, and unfortunately many people may have experienced this already, but you must remember that women are at times firstly victims of the patriarchy, but sometimes the strongest upholders of the patriarchy. You may find that the criticism you're faced with when you decide to rebel and make peace with your body comes from women more than men, because the patriarchy is not just men, it is the entire society. And so often women are the biggest sort of proprietors of this and the biggest enforcers of this as well, because it's scary to think of anything else, right? So there's also this element here of this constant battle of beginning to make peace with our body, and it feeling like a rebellion, and it feeling like then a disconnect from women around you because they're not ready to do that, or they're not wanting to rebel in that way. And understanding that is really important, because it helps you to conceptualize the experiences you may have on this journey of making peace within your body. I cannot stress enough that you are not doing anything wrong by making peace with your body. You are not doing anything inherently wrong. You are not breaking any rules. You are not turning into someone who is loose or overly sexual or whatever it might be by making peace with your body. It is one of the most divine things we can do, and it is one of the things probably we need the absolute most. And the truth of the matter is you can do all of the looking outside of yourself and surface level feminine energy work, and you can play in this area all you like, but you are not going to truly connect deep into your feminine essence, and you're not going to truly heal your relationship with the feminine until you find peace with your body, because it is the biggest playing chip that the patriarchy uses for us. And until we begin to peel back the layers, unlearn this, we are not going to be able to find this peace that we're seeking. Now, I appreciate again that this is probably going in a lot more depth, and a lot more has sort of opened up here than you may have realized would come up when thinking about making peace with our bodies. But it is so important, because you must realize that the hatred that you have or the dislike you have with your body is not your own. It's been put on you. It's not within you. It's not part of your bones. It is something you're told to have, and it is something that can be unlearned. Now, with that being said, let's move into beginning to heal this, beginning to actually make peace with our body, and how we do that, and what we must understand in order to step towards that. And I really think these then become those first shoots of healing, and the first signs that we're unlearning what we've spoken about and beginning to open ourselves up into this making peace with our bodies. And the first thing that I've already mentioned, you must understand and you must remember Your body is a portal for the divine. We have access to divinity through our bodies. As I said, when conception happens, soul drops in through the woman's body. The divine is not outside of you. So often we are seeking, and again, the masculine form of spirituality or finding oneself is we're outside, we're ascending, we're looking to the sky, we're looking to the universe, the cosmos, whatever it might be, and we're constantly looking up. The energy towards finding ourselves, ascension for the masculine is upwards, right? Whereas actually for women, the feminine, the journey towards divinity is within. It's deep within her bones. It's not getting out of the body. It's getting into the body. It's feeling into the body. This is when we drop into our own divinity. And this again, which is where I would almost argue modern spirituality keeps us disconnected from our deep feminine inherent divinity, is that it's very focused on outward ascension. It's very focused on manifestation. It's very focused on up, up, up. The stars, the cosmos, Father Sky, everything is looking upwards. Whereas actually as women, we can connect divinity inwards. And until we accept that and begin to do that work, we're still going to be disconnected. So first you must understand you are the portal. You are the divine. If the divine can move through you and drop into you, you're the goddess embodied. Each and every one of us is a goddess on earth. But in order to tap into that, we have to begin to tap into the portal within us and within the portal of our body. And so the minute you understand that, the minute you are going to really understand the big shift that needs to occur is that you are the divine. Your body is a portal for the divine. And this is where I can get really cheesy and say this whole thing of my body's a temple. No, no, no. Your body is. Your body is the temple. Your body is the gates to the divine. Literally, there is a link between the cosmos and earth, and it is women, and it is the portal they hold within their body. So you actually are a temple, and you hold the gates to your temple. So when we're thinking about not only making peace with our body, but treating our body with respect and integrity, there's this element of devotion to this temple that is you. Fueling her with whole organic foods, pleasing her senses with sweet and sour and tangy, whatever it might be, all of these different tastes, filling the body with love, with mindful movement, with intentional movement, with whole good foods from the earth is so important. And I guarantee you, if you're thinking about wanting to find love and peace and acceptance within your body, when you begin to treat her as a temple and you begin to, and if you think here, when we're thinking about cultures and societies that have this worship of temples, there are so many things brought to the temple. There are gifts of cake and honey and lavender and also those good organic whole foods, but there's a balance here, right? There is this beautiful balance of everything to please the senses, everything to really allow her to feel at ease. And again, this is really, really important, is this wanting to, again, that's why I called this make peace with your body. I don't need you to love your body right now, but I need to put your nervous system at peace so that you can find peace with your body. You've got to stop fighting her. You've got to stop putting this male gaze as your priority. It needs to shift towards, my body is here to serve the female gaze that is within me. My body becomes an expression of my femininity. So within that, I can adorn her with beauty and whatever it is that I feel is beautiful. This is a vessel I get to adorn with this. And that these are the real practices of like the goddess Venus and Aphrodite, of adorning with beauty and surrounding the feminine with beauty, which makes her feel very much at home. So instead of prioritizing, we can do this as simple as clothing. Instead of prioritizing the male gaze, what is flattering, what do men like, what looks good, what feels good, what makes me feel most connected to my femininity. For me, I want to look like a ethereal princess most of the time. That makes me feel really connected to my divinity. I want to look like a forest fairy at times. Is that the masculine gaze? No, 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 no. This is the feminine gaze. This is the 5-year-old inside us, the little girl that looked up and was like, oh, she looks beautiful, and the world who said it's not a fashion show, and she was loving this expression that came through adorning herself in what felt beautiful. This is a massive act of beginning to create body love, because my body is no longer here to fit into a male gaze. It's here to be an expression of my femininity. So the new curves you may have, or the curves you have that don't fit into the current masculine ideals, become a way of expressing your femininity. So simple acts of doing this are wearing beautiful but something that you may have once thought it was unflattering, enjoying these silhouettes, beginning to really put the female gaze at the front of your priority in terms of your appearance, which I'm not going to write off your appearance. Your appearance firstly is a tool within the world, but secondly your appearance is your expression, our feminine creative expression, so we should use it as so. Another thing that is really important for us to understand as women, and it's connected to the fact that our bodies are this portal for the divine, is we are children of Mother Earth, right? Women are Mother Earth embodied, right? So if you think about Mother Earth, she expands, she contracts, she has waves and lumps and craters and lines, and everything you see on Mother Earth, you can also see within yourself. However, when you see lines in the sand created from the waves and the ripples, in Mother Earth, it's beautiful. When you see stretch marks in your body, they create terror. We've got to begin to unlearn this fracturing from us and Mother Nature. We literally are her. Mother Nature has put us here as her embodiment, as the goddess walking, in order to be able to connect, and in order to, first of all, this is another topic, be stewards of her and look after her and carry this energy of the feminine. But more than anything, when you look at your body, you must remember that she is part of Mother Earth. Like, we have a moon cycle. Our periods, our menstruation cycle follows a 28-day cycle, which is connected to the moon, which is connected to the tides of the waves. That's why women feel so connected to the ocean. It's connected to the harvest. It's connected to the crops. Like, everything is within us. We are literally just expressing it in a different way. And when you realize this, you think, all of the beauty I see in Mother Nature, all of the beauty I see around me, is also within me. The things I look at and think, actually, they're not beautiful, if I were to see them outside of myself, they would be so beautiful. And that is really important to understand, because when we realize there's no line between us and Earth, we're just her embodied, there's a love that comes from that. In addition to this, I think it's so unbelievably important to, and I've mentioned this already within this video, that understand that as women, our bodies are going to be ever changing. The idea of the feminine is that it ebbs and flows, it expands and contracts. Our bodies throughout our lifetime are going to be ever changing. They are a temple, they're a holder of the portal. That is their main goal. At times they will expand to facilitate expansion of our energy, or to facilitate motherhood, or to facilitate a change within our lives. At times they will contract as changes also occur. This is all a part of the feminine experience, and I guarantee you, when you sit in your body at a much older age and you've lived a rich life full of experience, you will be heartbroken to look back and think how much time you may have spent hating your body. So the sooner you can make a promise to yourself that you're going to try your best not to fill your life with hatred for your body, and not to stop yourself from doing things due to hatred of your body, is a moment that that older version of you can look back with pride, versus wishing she could go back and change those days. In addition to this, I will also add that there is nothing, and I truly, truly, truly do believe this, there is nothing more chic. There is just nothing more chic than a woman who's at peace with her body. The women we look up to are ones that are just so unbelievably rooted and at peace with themselves, and every single layer, and one of those layers being in their body. And in addition to that being just incredibly chic, and I genuinely do believe it is incredibly chic, in addition to that, there is a legacy and a responsibility that we hold for the women that will come after us, whether it be our daughters, whether it just be the generations that will come after us, the healing that we do now will stop this ever-changing and this continual generational battle that women have with their bodies. And we do owe it to ourselves and to those women who come after us to begin to heal this and to make a stand for this and to begin to heal this relationship we have, so we don't pass that on to them and take their power away from them as it has been taken away from us. Now, I want to leave you with a few practical ways that you could begin to make peace with your body and unlock this deep power of feminine essence you hold within the body. So I just thought of a few that I could leave you with here before I finish this video. So the first thing that is a really beautiful way to connect to your feminine energy, but more importantly begin to connect to your body and unlearn some of the experiences we have picked up around our body and what is okay within the body, is deeply feminine yoga practices. And this is so much of everything I do on the Soul Channel, which is my online soul studio. It is a online soul studio really rooted in the power of feminine healing, and we have so many classes there, a lot of like sensual feminine flows that are really beautiful and created to help you sink into this acceptance and peace within your body and therefore your deep feminine essence. That is the first thing. The next thing is kind of adding on to that is beginning to create space and acceptance for sinking into like feeling and sensuality within the body. This could be through self-massage, this could be through skincare, it could be through just moisturizing your body after a shower and speaking affirmations and words of love to it. It is really important that you create time to sink into the feminine. Remember, the feminine is not within the head, it's in the body. It is the pleasing of the senses, taste, touch, smell. All of these are really important to begin to fulfill in order to connect with like the physical element that is the feminine and is the body, right? The next thing I would love for you to do if you do have a spiritual practice is begin to focus your spiritual practices inwards. So if you are someone who has a meditation practice and you think very much of sitting in meditation and opening up the portal above you to drop into any guidance that way, I want you to begin to tune inwards. See if you can maybe drop into the womb space and ask for guidance to come through from there. Really center your practices rather than being in the universe. The universe is inside you. So begin to center your practices within and hold your intention within rather than putting it outwards, and see if that begins to open up this portal within you as well. The next thing that can be amazing for this, only if it's applicable to you personally, is connecting to your moon cycle. So your menstruation cycle, beginning to track it, beginning to understand all of the different phases, holding your moon time, your menstruation as an incredibly sacred time, and taking time to slow down, to really honor this sacred time, is a really beautiful way to begin to make peace with that side of your body, to begin to make peace with your femininity. I would also add to this, beginning to again remember what we spoke about in terms of the things we wear, because I think a lot of the pain points we may have with making peace with our body is how clothes fit us, very practically. Begin to shift your clothing, your fashion, away from the male gaze. Skinny jeans, crop tops, for example, that might not be the male gaze for you, but what is seen as attractive or perceived as attractive from the male gaze, shift it to the feminine. Start to wear clothes that make you feel good. I would personally focus on more natural fibers. Start to focus on things that make you feel like the goddess and body that you are walking on earth. I cannot stress that enough. And last but not least, this is the most important one. I probably shouldn't have left this the last one on the video, because if you take anything from this video, this would actually be one of the main things I want you to take. Stop treating your body like a little man's body. You are not a man. The wellness practices that suit a man's body will not suit yours, categorically. The wellness industry is very tailored towards men's wellness. Most of the studies done on different wellness trends are done on men's bodies, i.e. ice baths, for example. All of the studies there have majority been done on men's bodies. For women, we need different things. Start honoring your body for the temple it is of the feminine, and start giving it what it needs to be this feminine temple and this feminine embodiment. Your body needs warmth, it needs mindful movement, it needs fluidity and freedom. And really, please tailor your wellness practices, your nutrition practices towards what you need as a woman, not what you need to operate as a man or a man in a woman's body. They are not the benchmark, and it is so important that we decenter this male masculine benchmark that is currently being held in every industry, the spirituality industry, the wellness industry, the general world as a whole. With that being said, that is everything for today's video. I really hope you were able to take something from this video. I also really hope you enjoyed talking a little bit more in depth, and we really dove into a lot of the feminine psyche today, and we really began to peel back a lot of the layers. And I appreciate that this is a lot more depth than what I may have gone into in the past when I've spoken about the concepts of spirituality or feminine energy, and that's purely a reflection of my own journey and where I'm at. And I want you to always know I am also a work in progress. So as I'm here speaking to you, I'm on my own journey with this, as we all will be. With that being said, I'm sending you so much love. I will see you in my next video here on my channel. If you aren't already subscribed, please do subscribe below and come and stay. I will also link some yoga classes that are free here on YouTube that you may want to try if you want to begin to tap into this peace with your body and this deep feminine energy. I'll link some good ones below. Otherwise, I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have the most beautiful day, week, month. If I don't see you again, life again ahead. And I hope to see you again very soon. Bye guys.